Most people believe they must wait for the perfect moment before daring to move toward their dreams. They tell themselves they need the right mood, the right level of energy, or the perfect set of circumstances. But the reality is this: readiness doesn't come before action, it comes after. The very act of beginning awakens your strength. Momentum is born not from thinking about the leap, but from taking it. Every great mind who ever shaped history understood this. Leonardo da Vinci did not wait for the right conditions to paint. He created while others hesitated. Serena Williams didn't win by waiting until she felt fully confident. She stepped onto the court and grew stronger with every match. The truth is clear. The mind develops power not through comfort, but through challenge. Growth does not arrive when life feels easy. Growth arrives when you lean into what feels difficult and still move forward. Your inner voice might whisper, "Not today. You're not ready yet." But that voice is not your truth. It's an echo of ancient programming. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors survived by avoiding risk, conserving energy, and seeking safety. But in the modern world, those instincts can hold you back from the extraordinary. Today, the greatest danger is not the predator outside the cave. It's the quiet temptation of comfort that keeps you from becoming who you were meant to be. Every person who has achieved greatness, from Nikola Tesla to Maya Angelou, had to rise above that survival instinct. They had to teach their minds to obey vision, not fear. They had to become the driver of their own destiny, not a passenger of hesitation. Because the truth is simple: the mind that always seeks comfort never builds strength. The soul that avoids effort never uncovers its potential. Think about this. Each time you delay, each time you tell yourself, "You'll start tomorrow," you pay a price. Opportunity slips away in silence. Momentum fades before it even begins. That's why those who act, even imperfectly, move further than those who wait for perfection. So, how do you win this inner battle? You start with the discipline of immediate action. Between the thought, "I should," and the action, "I did," lies the most dangerous space in your life: hesitation. That small pause is where dreams disappear. But when you eliminate the gap between decision and action, you stop fear from planting roots. You don't wait to feel ready. You move, and readiness follows. This doesn't mean recklessness. It means recognizing that endless preparation often disguises procrastination. You can study forever, plan endlessly, and dream without end, but none of that builds the life you want. Action, even messy, imperfect action, is what builds momentum. When you choose to move, you are choosing to trust your higher self, the part of you that sees beyond the present moment. Feelings may shout for comfort, but your deepest vision calls for progress. Every time you act, you're proving to yourself that your future matters more than your excuses. Start with the smallest possible step. If you need to write, don't promise yourself a masterpiece. Just open the document. If you need to train, don't think about the full workout. Simply put on your shoes. If you need to start a conversation, don't imagine the whole dialogue. Just dial the number. Each small action is a victory because it creates a pathway in your brain. The more often you take action quickly, the stronger those pathways become. Soon, you won't need to force yourself. Movement will become natural. And this daily practice transforms who you are. A person who acts without delay on little things becomes a person who acts without hesitation on big things. That is how courage is built. Not in one grand leap, but in thousands of small steps where you honored your decision over your doubt. Think of great innovators like Thomas Edison. He didn't wait until inspiration was perfect. He tested, he failed, he tried again. His genius was not in waiting for the right mood. It was in building relentless momentum through daily action. The same principle lives in you. Every time you keep a promise to yourself without delay, you're strengthening the most valuable muscle you have, your discipline. And that discipline will serve you when the stakes are highest. Remember this. The path to your greatest achievements will never feel comfortable at the beginning. But the more you act, the more your mind adapts. The more you move, the stronger you grow. And soon, what once felt impossible becomes your new normal. So, don't wait for the right conditions. Don't wait for the perfect mood. The time is not tomorrow. The time is not next week. The time is always now. Every decision you make costs energy. Every choice, whether to rise early or to stay in bed, whether to face the difficult task or to postpone it, takes from a limited supply of willpower. That's why relying on mood or waiting to feel like it is a losing strategy. Motivation is fleeting, but structure can carry you even when your energy is gone. The most successful people in the world, from athletes like Michael Jordan to scientists like Marie Curie, didn't depend on daily excitement. They relied on patterns, not vague goals, not fragile wishes, but clear, firm routines that demanded action no matter how they felt. A goal says, I want to write a book someday. A pattern says, I will write for 1 hour each morning at 7 a.m. A goal says, I want to get fit. A pattern says, I will train every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at sunrise. Do you see the difference? Goals depend on inspiration. Patterns work even when inspiration is nowhere to be found. And here's the secret. Patterns don't imprison you, they set you free. At first, your mind will resist. It will whisper, but life should be flexible. Routines are boring. Shouldn't I be more spontaneous? But the truth is, real freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you feel in the moment. Real freedom comes when the most important things in your life happen automatically, without debate. Think about musicians like Yo-Yo Ma or Beyoncé. They didn't achieve mastery by practicing only when they felt inspired. They built habits so steady that excellence became second nature. Their creativity wasn't crushed by structure. It was fueled by it. Because once the essentials were automatic, they had more energy for passion, for imagination, for magic. Patterns are your allies. They remove the endless inner arguments, the exhausting mental battles about whether today will be the day you finally take action. You decide once, clearly, firmly, and then you simply follow through. No discussion, no negotiation. To build these patterns, clarity is everything. I will exercise more often is not a pattern. I will walk for 20 minutes every evening at 8 p.m. is. The time, the action, and the conditions are specific. And here's another key. Make the good choices easy and the unhelpful choices hard. If you want to study, prepare your desk the night before. If you want to train, lay out your clothes in advance. If you want to read more, place books where you'll see them first thing in the morning. Don't fight resistance head-on. Outsmart it. Will this be easy? No. Your mind will fight back. It will invent emergencies, offer convincing excuses, and present seemingly better alternatives. But that resistance is not proof your system is failing. It's proof it's working. Every time your pattern forces you to face discomfort, you are building strength. The real test of a routine is not how well you follow it when you feel excited. The true test is how well you keep it on your hardest days. Anyone can wake up early when life is smooth, but the master is the one who follows through even when tired, even when unmotivated, even when everything feels chaotic. This is why so many extraordinary people seem to live boring lives. They eat similar meals, keep steady schedules, and guard their routines fiercely. It's not because they lack creativity. It's because they know that structure multiplies energy. Once the essentials are handled by habit, the rest of their mind is free to create, to explore, to live fully. You don't have to start big. In fact, starting small is the smartest way. Want to read more? Commit to a single page a day. Want to write more? Promise yourself just one sentence daily. Want to train consistently? Begin with 5 minutes. Why? Because the size of the action doesn't matter. The consistency does. Small actions done daily grow into unstoppable habits. Large actions done occasionally fade away. Every pattern you keep strengthens your belief in yourself. Each time you follow through, you prove that you can be trusted, not just by others, but by your own mind. That confidence becomes the foundation for bigger commitments later. Over time, these steady patterns create something even greater than results. They create identity. A person who trains every morning becomes, in their own eyes, an athlete. A person who writes every day becomes, naturally, a writer. A person who keeps promises to themselves becomes someone who trusts their own word. This transformation is priceless, because once discipline becomes who you are, not just what you do, resistance loses its grip. You no longer have to fight yourself. Your habits carry you forward. So remember this: patterns are not chains. They are wings. They lift you above hesitation. They free you from the endless negotiation with your moods. They turn promises into proof, and with time, they turn ordinary days into extraordinary lives. The life you dream of won't come from random bursts of effort. It will come from small, steady patterns that you guard fiercely. Choose one today. Make it simple. Make it clear. Make it non-negotiable. And watch how this one commitment begins to reshape not only what you do, but who you are becoming. Every breakthrough begins where comfort ends. The natural instinct of the human body is to chase ease, to avoid struggle, and to look for shortcuts. But everything truly worthwhile, mastery, resilience, wisdom, is found on the other side of discomfort. Look at any great athlete, thinker, or creator. Usain Bolt did not reach lightning speed by training only when it felt effortless. Malala Yousafzai did not become a global voice for courage by staying silent when things were easy. Growth comes by choosing challenge, not by waiting for smooth roads. Here's the shift. Discomfort is not a warning sign. It is a signal of progress. When your muscles ache during training, it means they're growing stronger. When your mind feels stretched by new knowledge, it means your capacity is expanding. When your heart feels the weight of a hard decision, it means you're stepping into deeper responsibility. Most people see hardship as proof they should stop. They think, this is too hard. Maybe I'm not built for it. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Struggle is evidence that you're pushing beyond your current limits. And that's the only way those limits change. The path forward is not about chasing pain. It's about embracing the lessons of discomfort. You don't need to leap into extremes. Start small. Take a cold shower when you crave warmth. Speak up in a meeting when you'd rather stay quiet. Walk an extra block when your body wants to rest. Each small act teaches your mind, I can move forward even when it's not easy. What matters most is choice. You are not a victim of hardship. You are a deliberate participant in it. You choose the challenge. You step into it willingly. And because of that, the discomfort that once felt threatening becomes a teacher, a trainer, a builder of inner strength. Over time, something remarkable happens. You stop fearing discomfort. You start seeing it for what it is. Proof that you're alive, proof that you're growing, proof that you're walking the road less traveled. The uneasy moments stop feeling like walls and begin to look like doors. Imagine Thomas Edison working late into the night, facing failure after failure. Imagine Simone Biles training routines that seemed impossible at first. Imagine Winston Churchill leading through dark times when hope seemed distant. None of them found strength in comfort. They found it in choosing the harder path, again and again, until resilience became second nature. The key is to practice this daily. Each day, choose something that stretches you. It doesn't have to be monumental. Eye contact held a few seconds longer. A workout extended just a little further. A conversation you've been postponing Do this consistently, and your threshold for difficulty expands. Your mind will resist. It will whisper stories. This is dangerous. You're too tired. You can't handle this. But those stories are illusions, echoes of instincts designed for survival, not for excellence. You are not in danger. You are in training, and the reward for that training is priceless. The person who can remain steady in the face of discomfort holds a power far beyond talent or skill. When others panic, you stay calm. When others give up, you press on. When others see barriers, you see possibilities. This is not about being tough for toughness' sake. It's about preparation for life itself. The business you dream of will demand long hours and uncertain days. The relationship you desire will ask for vulnerability and hard conversations. The body you want will require sweat and discipline. The mind you admire will call for focus when distractions pull at you. The truth is, discomfort is temporary, but the strength it creates is lasting. The more you practice moving through it, the more it loses its power over you. Soon, what used to feel unbearable becomes ordinary, and what once seemed impossible becomes part of your daily reality. Think of it this way. Comfort keeps you the same. Discomfort shapes you into someone new. Every time you choose growth over ease, you are casting a vote for your future self. And with enough votes, that self becomes who you are. So don't wait for the easy path. It doesn't exist. Choose the meaningful path. Welcome the challenge. Lean into the moments that stretch you. Because every time you do, you become stronger, braver, and more ready for the life you've imagined. Remember this. Greatness is not found in avoiding discomfort. It is found in transforming discomfort into growth. And you have that power today. Not someday, not later, but right now in this very moment. In today's world, attention is the most valuable currency you possess. Every notification, every headline, every distraction is a silent competitor, fighting to steal it from you. And the truth is simple. Your life will be shaped by what you consistently give your focus to. Most people allow their attention to scatter like confetti in the wind. They jump from task to task, thought to thought, without ever diving deep. But deep focus is where real progress is born. Without it, even the most talented minds remain stuck at the surface. With it, ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. Think of Albert Einstein working in silence on equations that changed humanity, or J.K. Rowling writing stories that would capture the imagination of millions, often in noisy cafes, yet lost in her own world. Their success was not built only on talent. It was built on the ability to concentrate, to stay with one thing long enough for brilliance to emerge. Your mind, left untrained, behaves like a restless child, chasing every shiny object, every new thought. But just like the body can be trained through exercise, the mind can be trained through focus. Attention is not a gift, it is a skill. Here's how the training begins. Choose a block of time, maybe 20 minutes, where you dedicate yourself completely to one task. During that time, there are no detours, no half-commitments. When your thoughts wander, and they will gently but firmly bring them back, each return is a repetition. Each repetition is building strength. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Your brain has been conditioned by constant stimulation, by the endless availability of entertainment and distraction. But slowly you rewire it. You teach it that depth matters more than novelty. You show it that concentration can be sustained, and with practice, expanded. The environment you create plays a powerful role. Your surroundings should support your focus, not sabotage it. Remove clutter from your desk. Put your phone out of reach. Design a space that whispers, "Here, we do deep work." Every unnecessary object is a possible thief of your energy. Your inner environment matters just as much. Before beginning, take a moment to acknowledge the thoughts and worries swirling inside you. Don't fight them. Simply set them aside, promising yourself you'll return later. It's like clearing your mental desk before starting a project. The practice of focus transforms the way you experience work. A task that once felt overwhelming becomes engaging. A project that seemed impossible becomes a puzzle you're eager to solve. The challenge doesn't change, but your ability to stay present with it does. Think of great musicians in flow, scientists lost in discovery, athletes fully absorbed in the game. In those moments, there is no distraction, no self-doubt, only total immersion. That state of flow is not reserved for the chosen few. It is available to anyone willing to train their attention. Each time you resist distraction, you reclaim a piece of your potential. Each time you stay with your work, you are building mental endurance. And over time, this endurance becomes one of your greatest strengths. But here's the truth. You don't need to eliminate every distraction from your life. That's impossible. The key is to notice when your attention drifts and to bring it back with kindness and consistency. Like training a muscle, the growth comes from the return, not from expecting perfection. This skill is the foundation of mastery. Whether you're learning an instrument, starting a business, or writing a book, the quality of your focus determines the quality of your results. A scattered mind produces scattered outcomes. A steady mind produces steady breakthroughs. And perhaps the most important shift is this. Focus is not just about productivity. It's about presence. When you give full attention to your work, you experience the joy of deep engagement. When you give full attention to the people you love, you experience true connection. When you give full attention to the moment you're living, you experience life itself. Your attention is your life. Where it goes, your energy flows, and what you repeatedly focus on becomes your reality. So, guard it fiercely, train it daily, use it wisely, because in a world full of noise, the person who can hold their focus holds the power to create, to achieve, and to live with purpose. Remember this, you don't need more time. You don't need more talent. What you need is to bring the full force of your attention to the things that matter most. Do that, and you will uncover a strength that can change not only your work, but your entire life. The human mind is clever. When faced with difficult work, it doesn't simply admit defeat. It invents excuses that sound reasonable. Suddenly, the desk needs reorganizing before you can begin. Suddenly, urgent emails appear that can't possibly wait. Suddenly, you convince yourself you need more research, more planning, more time. But here's the truth. These are not genuine priorities. They are escape routes. They are clever disguises your mind creates to protect you from discomfort. The problem is, while they keep you safe from struggle, they also keep you small. The masters of achievement understand this. They recognize these patterns for what they are, avoidance in disguise, and they shut them down before they grow. Physical escape routes are the easiest to see. The phone on the desk, the snacks in the cupboard, the television remote within reach. When distractions are nearby, they feel natural to use. But when you make them difficult to access, when the phone is in another room, when the remote is hidden away, the temptation loses its power. Friction becomes your ally. Mental escape routes are subtler. They appear noble, even wise. I should plan more before I begin. I should learn everything before I start. I should wait until I feel fully prepared. But true planning happens in advance, not as a sudden detour when it's time to act. True learning happens along the way, not in endless preparation. And waiting for perfect readiness is simply waiting forever. The most dangerous escape routes are emotional. You begin to feel anxious, and your mind whispers, "Maybe I should stop." You feel doubt, and it says, "I'm not cut out for this." You feel frustration, and it insists, "This is a sign I should quit." But emotions are not instructions. They are signals, not verdicts. Anxiety often means you're doing something that matters. Doubt often means you're stretching your identity. Frustration often means you're learning. When you see emotions as proof of significance instead of proof of weakness, you rob them of their power to derail you. One of the most powerful tools for closing escape routes is accountability. When your commitment exists only in your head, excuses feel convincing. But when you've promised progress to someone else, a mentor, a partner, a community, those same excuses sound hollow. Accountability transforms private negotiations into public commitments, and that shift changes everything. This is why athletes train with coaches, why entrepreneurs join masterminds, why writers share deadlines. The presence of another person watching creates strength you might not find alone. Here's a truth few realize. Escape routes are the silent killers of potential. Most people never discover what they're truly capable of because they always leave themselves an option to retreat. They keep backup plans, alternative exits, and soft landings. And while this may feel safe, it also keeps them from fully committing. But when you remove the escape routes, when you decide there is no turning back, something incredible happens. You unlock resources you never knew you had. Your creativity sharpens. Your determination rises. Your courage deepens. When retreat is no longer possible, progress becomes inevitable. Think about Hernán Cortés, who famously burned his ships upon arriving in the New World. Retreat was no longer an option. Victory was the only path forward. While his story is extreme, the principle is timeless. When you eliminate the possibility of escape, you unleash the full power of commitment. The same is true in daily life. If you want to write, remove the distractions before you sit down. If you want to train, schedule it with a partner who will notice if you skip. If you want to build a business, invest enough that quitting would hurt. When the option to retreat is gone, the only direction left is forward. And this is where transformation happens. When you stop running from difficulty and begin moving through it, you build not only results, but also character. You learn that what once felt unbearable is survivable. You discover that persistence creates solutions that hesitation never could. Escape routes promise comfort, but they steal your future. Closing them may feel frightening, but it also sets you free. Because once you commit fully, with no back doors, no, maybe later, no, I'll try, you begin to see what you are truly capable of. So look at your life today. Where are your escape routes? What habits, distractions, or excuses are giving you an easy way out? And what would happen if you close them once and for all? The answer is simple. You would find strength you never imagined. You would uncover courage you didn't know you had. And you would finally move, not halfway, not hesitantly, but completely, into the life waiting for you. Lasting transformation doesn't begin with what you do. It begins with who you believe you are. Most people try to change their lives by forcing new behaviors onto an old identity. They tell themselves, I'll act disciplined, while deep down believing they are lazy. They say, I'll act brave, while still seeing themselves as fearful. This creates a constant inner conflict. Every step feels like swimming against a strong current. But here's the secret. Your actions naturally follow your identity. If you want lasting change, you don't just adjust habits. You rewrite the story you tell yourself about who you are. Identity is not fixed. It's not carved in stone by your past, your mistakes, or your circumstances. Identity is a story you're telling yourself right now. And like any story, it can be rewritten. How? By casting votes. Every action you take is a ballot for the type of person you want to become. When you rise early, you're voting for the identity of someone disciplined. When you push through a workout, you're voting for the identity of someone strong. When you sit down to work, even when uninspired, you're voting for the identity of someone consistent. No single action transforms your life, but thousands of small votes, cast day after day, tip the scales until a new identity emerges. Think of Oprah Winfrey. She did not become one of the most influential voices on earth by luck. She built that identity through daily choices, showing up, speaking her truth, and casting votes for the person she wanted to be. Think of Elon Musk. His innovations didn't appear overnight. They were the result of countless votes for persistence, curiosity, and bold vision. The process works like compound interest. Small deposits grow into massive change. Each time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you reinforce the story of someone who can be trusted. And eventually, that story becomes your truth. But even identity is not enough without momentum. The most powerful force in personal growth is forward motion. Every action you take makes the next action easier. Every day of progress strengthens tomorrow's progress. Most people misunderstand this. They wait for the perfect time to begin, the new year, the new season, the right conditions. But change doesn't begin with giant leaps. It begins with small, daily steps. The writer who creates 1 page a day will write more in a year than the dreamer who waits for inspiration. The reader who spends 15 minutes daily will learn more than the one who binge reads sporadically. The person who takes consistent, modest actions will always surpass the one who waits for dramatic bursts. Momentum compounds. Each choice builds on the last. And just as positive momentum builds strength, negative momentum builds weakness. Every day you avoid the work, it becomes harder to begin. Every excuse strengthens the voice of hesitation. That's why there are no neutral days. Each day moves you closer to your vision or further away. So treat each decision with care. Keep the promises you make to yourself, even the small ones. If you say you'll write 1 sentence, write it. If you say you'll train for 5 minutes, do it. These are not trivial. They are bricks in the foundation of your future. And remember, forward motion requires balance. It is not about constant maximum effort. It is about sustainable effort, paired with rest that renews your strength. The marathon runner doesn't sprint the entire distance. They pace themselves wisely. The master doesn't burn out in a blaze of energy. They build a rhythm they can maintain for years. Here is the ultimate truth. Doing hard things becomes easy when it becomes who you are. When action is no longer a battle, but a natural expression of your identity. When growth is no longer forced, but simply how you live. The person you dream of becoming is not a stranger. They are already within you, waiting for your choices to bring them to life. Every act of discipline, every moment of focus, every step into discomfort is a message to yourself. This is who I am now. And over time, that identity becomes unshakable. You stop trying to be disciplined. You simply are disciplined. You stop trying to act confident. You simply are confident. You stop trying to push through. You simply move forward, because that is your nature. So here is your invitation. Don't just change what you do. Change who you are becoming. Don't just aim for results. Build the identity that creates results naturally. Don't just wait for the future. Build it, brick by brick, through momentum you guard daily. There will be no single moment when you suddenly feel transformed. Instead, transformation will sneak up on you. One day, you'll look back and realize the person who once hesitated, who once feared, who once avoided, has been replaced by someone new, someone stronger, someone ready, someone unstoppable. And when that day comes, you'll understand something powerful. The extraordinary person you were chasing has been inside you all along. They were waiting patiently for you to start casting votes, for you to start moving forward, for you to finally step into the life you were always meant to live. So start today, not tomorrow, not someday. Today, act and let action create momentum. Commit and let commitment shape your identity. Move and let movement carry you to greatness. Because the truth is this, you don't just do great things. You become the kind of person for whom great things are simply natural. And that is the real victory,